just figured I'd redo this video. It was done a while ago in regards to the life that I lived and the life that I live now. The reason I'm doing this is not something that I want people to be looking at me like, woe is me, or anything like that. It's more of an informational video of where I've come from, how much I've accomplished, how much I have yet to achieve, and the battles I have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, just to go through the quick, before my teens, I grew up in the quote-unquote typical suburbia, had the typical family, and that ended up splitting, and it split at a fairly critical time in my life, which at the age of 14, when the family decided to go their separate ways, or decided to get divorced, whatever you want to say. I won't go into all the details on that because it's not pertinent really. What is pertinent is the factor that being that it was around the time I was 14, there was a lot of things going on in my life, and number one being puberty and stuff like that. It set me down a path that from the age of 14 until even while I was in the Army was drinking. At the age of 21, when I went into the Army, I was drinking pretty heavily still, and I wasn't doing it while I was in the Army, but before and after the Army I was drinking, and not only drinking, I was doing a whole lot of different drugs. And these drugs, whether they be mild to extremely toxic and extremely addictive, you name it, I was there, done that. And all kidding aside, if I ran for president just to find out what happened in my 20s and 30s, it would fill in a lot of gaps just to show how much I've missed. That being said, it was a pretty bad situation for a very long time. Like when I moved out to Oregon for no apparent reason, and it just was a random thing to move out there, and got in a really bad crowd where the amount of drugs was beyond anything I can imagine, and stuff like meth and stuff like that was being involved, coke was being involved. It is what it is, and it's part of who I am. It's not something I'm very proud of, it's not something I'm ashamed of, it is just what it is. That being said, when I was around 2007, I moved here to Florida, and since I've been in Florida, I've been able to walk away from all the drugs and everything. And a few years later, I was able to walk away from drinking. Now in 2011, this is where things got really interesting. If you don't think the story of drugs and alcohol is interesting, in 2011, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. After the Army, after all the craziness that I did, and after being sober for several years, I started having seizures. No head injuries, no family history, no nothing like that. So I spent several years just researching upon researching, just trying to figure out what was going on, how to stop it. After going through 15, 16 plus medications, I lost track on how many. You can see some of the scars on my head, and that was from 2020, where I had a brain implant put in to try and stop the seizures. Now it's been an off and on battle trying to get them to just slow down and stop. And like I mentioned, all the different drugs, all the different failures of the drugs, it just continuously got worse. It continually just kept being an uphill battle fighting. And all along this process, whether it be the drugs, meaning the chemicals of the medicines and stuff, or whether it just be natural, whatever, my weight went up and down, up and down. I've been as high as 260 pounds. I've been as low as 170, all in the course of the last 14 years alone. And trying to get a stable weight has been critical, especially for the seizures. But not only that, just for overall health, and trying to get my son to understand how much health is an important role in life. At the age of 6, it's pretty much not something you can tell a 6-year-old and have them understand. But I continually try to encourage him to eat healthier. My wife continues to encourage him to eat healthier. And it's a daily battle. And I've been fortunate for the last 2 weeks, by a miracle, whether it's somebody upstairs or whether they finally hit the right trigger as far as for the implant and the right medication and the combination thereof, or again, just somebody upstairs happened to look in. It's been just over 2 weeks now that I haven't had any kind of seizure activity. So it's been a real blessing on that side of things for the last 2 weeks. However, I'm now that I've got this under control, I've also found out during the implant that I also have a brain aneurysm. Well, it's an aneurysm right outside of my brain, to be exact. It's outside of the brain casing and outside the covering of the brain. So my hopes and dreams of running a marathon went to the wayside because of the factor of the increased pressure. The doctor said, no, we don't want you doing that. Then you throw, as far as for exercise, I have all the exercise equipment here. I can do whatever workouts, but battling the brain and battling the body of just trying to get up and do the right work and getting on the right plan has been a struggle like I've never understood could be possible. And I will fight daily until I can figure out how to get on a stable weight plan, meaning I want to be about 180, maybe 175, 180, and 12 to 14% body fat. That is about as healthy as you could get, and you can probably see some of the redness on my face. I don't know what allergy is causing that or what could be influencing it. That's another thing just to add to the chalkboard of different items that I gotta worry about. It's daily battles. You know what? We all have daily battles, and some are health related issues, some are financial related issues, some are a lot worse than what I'm describing, and I understand that, and I'm always here to help people, and that has become my major goal, is to help people and to teach people how to not quit and how not to give up. It's just a matter of staying true to yourself and really just not giving up. Every day you just need to step up, step forward, and go, what can I do to be better than I was yesterday? What can I do to increase my chances of being that much better next week? How do I do it every day of the week? And there's no way you're gonna do it every day. There's no chance of doing it every day. We are humans, we screw up. That's the nature of a human. You know what? You make it 4 days, you make it 5 days, you make it 6 days. So that week, you won that week. If you can continue a pattern like that, 2 or 3 screw ups may or may not set you back. How much you screw up, it's just a matter of saying, I screwed up. Pick yourself up off the ground, dust yourself off, and push forward. And just keep doing that. Just pick yourself up, keep moving forward. You might screw up. There's the motivational speaker who said, if you fall down, land on your back. Because you know what? If you can look up, you can get up. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. I apologize for forgetting it. But that is the best way to look at things. If you can look up, you can get up. And you just can't stop doing that. You can get knocked down thousands of times. I've lost count on how many times I've been knocked down. How many times I've just said, why me? Why me? And once I got out of that attitude of why me and started going, well, you know what? There's other people out there that are worse than me. There are other people that have worse conditions than me. That information right there alone has made me change on who I am. It's made me change on my outlook on life. And I refuse to quit. and I refuse to quit helping people. And that's why I plan on doing what I'm doing. I want to help as many people as possible. That's why I became a certified trainer. That's why I'm becoming a certified coach, is so I can take people to the level that they need to be, so they can be healthier, they can be happier, and they can help their families, they can help their friends, and they can just expand it as far as they want to expand it. But number one thing that I always say to everybody, just please don't quit. Just do not give in on yourself. It's not worth it. It's not worth the time. You put in all the effort, step up, be the person you want to be the person you need to be, help yourself, help your families, and just be the best person you can be. And if you ever need help, just reach out and I'll do my damnedest to help you. I may not have the best answers. I may not have the answer right away. I will do everything I can to find you the answer. And if I don't have the answer, I will find somebody that will have the answer for you. So let's see if I can help you, and let's see if you can help each other. But again, my story continues. I went from being drug addict, drug abuser, alcoholic, to being sober, to having a son 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago now. I'm also married 6-7 years, going on 7 years. It's kind of scary saying 7 years, but yeah, both about 7 years. And my life has changed completely. And I am not the same person I was 10 years ago. I am not the same person I was 20 years ago. And I'm happy for that. I'm in a better place. Medically, there's some worse places, yes. But you know what? Mentally and overall physically, I'm in a better place. And you can't just look at your past and keep living in your past, because that's the worst place to stay, is staying in the past. You'll never get where you need to be by staying in the past. Step up. Do it for yourself. First and foremost, do it for yourself. Then worry about other people. Because you know what? You are important. You may not think you're important. There's other people out there that think you're important, and that's what's critical. So do it.